Hello Battle Cats players, my name is Chance and welcome to my guide. Today we have a very special cat in store for you, namely Witch Cat. This rare cat can be unlocked by playing the rare cat capsules. And this is one of the better crowd controller cats in the game, I want to say. At the very least, it is certainly relative to its rarity, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. Naturally, it is my hope that throughout this video, exploring really everything there is to know about Witch Cat, you can make a more informed decision on how to best use them in whatever stages they're relevant in, as well as how far to invest into them, if at all. Now then, let's get started by taking a look at Witch Cat's evolutionary lines. To start with, we have Witch Cat herself, whose description reads, "A magical cat that would rather be a magical girl than a witch might slow red enemies." Then at level 10, she evolves into Sorceress Cat, obtained magic skills from online courses, really popular at parties, but doesn't get paid, might slow red enemies. Then at level 30, as well as introducing some cat fruit and XP, she becomes Enchantress Cat, using her clairvoyant powers to scry the best ways to make it on TV. Her star power might slow red enemy movement. Now then, let's take a look at her overall performance and talk about pros and cons. Firstly, Witch Cat is considered to be a crowd controller, which is really any unit that applies a status effect or knockbacks enemies. Under pros, we have fast attack rate and animation, as well as fast recharge time. And under cons, low attack power, low health in normal and evolved form, mediocre range in normal and evolved form, and single target. And under other considerations, you have a 20% chance to slow red enemies for 4 seconds, or 5 seconds while in true form. To reiterate, once again, it is important to remember that this is strictly a crowd control unit. The odds of Witch Cat really killing anything are fairly small to none. She might steal a kill here or there, but you should not be relying on this unit for damage. Now let's move on and check out some gameplay and talk strategy. As far as cost is concerned, Chapter 1, this unit will cost you 330 cents, Chapter 2, 495 cents, and Chapter 3 is 660 cents. Which is pretty fair for a crowd controller of its category. It is a little bit expensive for a rare cat, but ultimately, it's still pretty good. Now, Witch Cat is widely considered to be one of the best stallers in the game. This is in large part due to its high slow duration, as well as the fact that it has a very quick attack animation, making it very likely to be able to get a proc off, and once a unit is slowed, obviously that's more opportunities to get more attacks in and more procs follow. However, where Witch Cat really shines is 4-star stages. Really for the simple reason that iCat is really unavailable on these stages. So if you are struggling in any 4-star predominantly red stages, I would really recommend looking into Witch Cat. There is also, of course, her true form, which is worth discussing as well. More range and a higher slow duration is really all that needs to be said. At this point, she can now outrange J.K. Bun Bun, and will be a much more consistent crowd control unit. Really just making her better at her job, which is what a good true form should do in my opinion. As far as how you typically want to use Witch Cat, not really too much to say other than spam out your meat shields, spam out whatever crowd controller unit you're using alongside Witch Cat with Witch Cat, and then spam out your DPS units after that. That's kind of the general rule you're always going to want to follow when it comes to like order of operations. Now then, let's move on to talking about cat combos. First up, Witch Cat has access to Ghibli Studio. This is a cat cannon power-up of the medium variety. It involves the Flying Cat, Mythical Titan Cat, and Witch Cat. Witch Cat, I believe to be a reference to Kiki's delivery service, although I'm not too sure about that. And this will increase cat cannon attack power by 50%. I really don't think any of these matter. I've never been on a stage and thought to myself, man, I really wish my cat cannon was just more powerful. I've never once had that thought cross my mind. And with the prominency of cat attack power-ups, I really do think all of those are a better option. Up next, we have Witch Trial, which is a slow effect up of the small variety involving Witch Cat and Bondage Cat, and it increases slow duration by 10%. I actually really like this cat combo for what it's worth. Obviously, increasing slow duration when one of your units is a very prominent cat for 4-star stages makes a lot of sense to me. And while Bondage Cat isn't inherently the best cat, there are still use cases for him as well. So ultimately, I consider this common to be pretty viable and usable. As far as the cat fruits needed to true form this unit are concerned, you're going to need 3 green seeds obtainable every Monday, 2 purple seeds obtainable every Tuesday, 2 blue seeds obtainable every Thursday, 1 yellow seed obtainable every Friday, 2 red fruit obtainable every Wednesday, and a 200,000 XP. Now then, I'm just going to flash some stat screens pertaining to Witch Cat and read out some trivia. The line "would rather be a magic girl than a witch" in Witch Cat's description may be a reference to Pula Magi Madoka Magica. Sorceress Cat's hat appears to be based on the Mad Cap, an eye-patterned witch hat in some of the Dragon Quest games. The line "a witch whose style of fortune-telling became well known and entered the show business" in Enchantress Cat's Japanese description may be a reference to Kazuko Hiroshi, a famous fortune-teller and TV personality. Unlike other cats, Witch Cat's color scheme hasn't stayed consistent across spin-offs. In Nayako Defense Force, she has a black hat and brown hair, but in Battle Cat's Quest, it was changed to purple hat and blonde hair. All very interesting stuff. Now then, let's talk talents. First up, Witch Cat has access to Slow. This increases slow duration by 0.1 second per level up to 1 second total for a total NP cost of 75. Survives, which adds a 23% chance to survive a lethal strike, and this improves by 3% per level up to 50% for a total NP cost of 95. Target Zombie for a cost of 50 NP, and Defense and Attack buff, which increase their respective traits by 2% per level up to 20%, up to 75 NP each. Now, as far as priorities go here, Target Zombie is really gonna be the most impactful. And this is largely because at the true form of Enchantress Cat, Witch Cat outranges virtually most of the zombie units, making this an incredibly useful crowd controller on zombie stages. Outside of that, the Survives and then the Slow Increase talent are pretty usable as well. I might not recommend investing really anything in her attack and defense up, as you really are unlikely to make a very meaningful difference in either of those traits respectively. It's just not how this cat's meant to be used. Witch Cat also has an orb slot as well. For this orb slot, if you're going to put anything in it, probably defense up against red enemies, but that's really about it. And even that I wouldn't really recommend. They're just better units for orbs to be put into. But if you are in a position where you need to, sure, defense up against red makes sense. Maybe defense up against zombies as well if you're using her predominantly on those stages, but who knows? It really is up to the individual player. In any case, now that you know what I think about Witch Cat, let's see what all of you had to say about them. There is only one comment on the community post relevant to this cat at the time of recording this video, and that is of course Bee Eater, who says, "Shockingly good, like not bad, but not Sanzo." And while he is correct, they don't really compete with each other, right? Like Sanzo is predominantly floating enemies, and Witch Cat is predominantly red or zombie enemies, depending on whether or not you have the talent. But I kind of see what he's saying, like one for one, they're not really, like Sanzo is a better option, but Witch Cat definitely has her use cases as well. And if you would like to be featured in this part of the video, be sure to check out our community tab and comment on the relevant posts. And that's about really all there is to say about Witch Cat. If I missed anything, overlooked anything, or there's anything that you guys would like to bring up, feel free to do so down beneath in the comment section. As always, thank you for watching until this point, and be sure to like and subscribe for Cat God's blessing. I'll be talking to you guys soon.